Yo, what is going on, guys? My name is Onesie Swagnet, and welcome to TBU Week 1 against the Dallas Staravias and Trip. Basically, I'm gonna let Onesie Bannett do all of my analysis videos, and I'm gonna let Onesie Swagnet narrate those battles. Okay, now I'm gonna try my hardest not to go too chavvy and swaggy on you bastards, alright mate? So basically, we can see here that Trip has brought the Vaporeon, the Avalog, the Megalopony, the Bronzong, the Kyurem, and the Mew. Now, Alex, the little idiot, said in his video yesterday that the Avalog was not going to be coming. That was stupid of him, because it's right here. And the funny thing is, looking at my team, it stops Sneasel, it stops Staraptor to an extent. It was actually a very good piece of prediction from him on what I was bringing. He's brought a very nice team here. And the other thing there that surprises me is probably the fact that he decided to bring the Bronzong. Of course he was bringing the Bronzong, what am I saying? I don't even know, I'm too high. But anyway, he's got the Megalopony, so I can see that he's probably going to lead off with it. So I'm going to just play the match now, and I'm going to talk you through play by play what the hell happened. So yeah, let's just keep going. That's a click. Trip is issuing a challenge, and I lead off with my Sneasel, which is, you know, the best Pokemon ever, and he leads out with Nya, silly name, because it's a Mew, and I'm very surprised at this point, and I don't know what's going on, so I go for a knockoff, and he reveals a Cobra Berry, which, in hindsight, was very fucking obvious. It was a stupid idea to go for a knockoff on a Mew that was a lead. So he goes for the Will-O-Wisp, revealing that to me, and now my Sneasel is pretty much useless, and I'm already in a place where I have nothing that I can do to touch this Mew if it's physically defensive, and almost nothing to do with it specially. So I switch in my Meloetta, and he goes for a knockoff. So he's already made two badass predictions already. So he goes for a soft boiled here, and that shows me that he's got some, well, he doesn't need speed investment, but it shows me that he's fairly quick. So I go for the Wonder Room, hoping that this thing was specially defensive, hence why he stayed in on it. He then goes for the Taunt, which is me, like, he thinks I'm going to be some kind of weird defensive set, so no, I pull out my Shadow Ball, and this bullcrap does just under half to the Mew, but we don't get the Spadef drop, so he goes for the soft boiled, and I realise that this thing can just kill me with two knockoffs, so I decide to switch on the hell out of there and go for a U-turn, because at the moment, I have nothing I can do to this Mew. It's just gonna eat me alive. Absolutely just eat me alive, mate. So I U-turn out into Panic, into Brendan Urie's fat ass. And Brendan Urie over here goes for a U-turn. Staraptor goes for the U-turn. I went for that thinking that he wasn't going to stay in, and that revealed to me that maybe he was specially defensive because he stayed in on the Staraptor, which could possibly have been banded and have U-turn and have like a lot of moves. So I go for the U-turn. He stays in and goes for another Will-O-Wisp. I had a feeling he was going to try and do that, so I go out into the Sneasel. And I decide here, Sneasel is pretty much fodder at this point because it's burnt, it can't do anything apart from knock off things, it can't touch this Mew, and he goes for a soft boiled, so I'm just here like, you know what, it's fine. But, basically, now he's up at good health, he's going to try and knock off whatever item I have here, so I think, you know what, time for memes, mate! Time for memes, time to go for a counter. So I go for a counter, he goes for the knockoff, does like 50 damage to me, and I go straight for that counter, which smacks him in the face, and that reveals to me that this is definitely fully HP invested, which I kind of already revealed from the amount of damage that freaking Shadow Ball from Meloetta did. But anyway, I go for my Icicle Crash, hoping to get a flinch. But I don't get a flinch, because Sneasel ain't been training in the mountains hard enough, because he's stupid, mate. So he goes for a soft boiled, gets himself back up to a very good amount of HP. And Sneasel here is dying next turn, so I'm not going to do anything else. I'm just going to go for another Icicle Crash. He can go for soft boiled if he wants. It's fine. It's absolutely fine. But I get a crit, and I get a flinch. So Sneasel takes this thing down to about 2/3 of its health and allows something to possibly come in and revenge it before going down. But Sneasel, that was disappointing. You're shit. So I send in Cascada. He goes for the knockoff here, trying to work out whether he can 2-hit KO me from this range. It's obvious he can. So I go for the Shadow Ball, which is quite nice. It's quite nice. And it gets a bit of, you know, a defense drop on me. So I then switch out my Meloetta because I'm slower and I think he's going to kill me with another knockoff. So I go into Brendan Urie, who is like the only thing I can see here that even wants to attempt to switch in, because I'm not risking Tyrantrum getting burned. If Staraptor gets burned, it still hits fairly hard. And I predict that as he knocks off my Choice Scarf. Now he then sends in the Avalugg, and this was what royally pissed me off during the game, because I was so certain this was not coming, and he switches it in on my double edge, and I take the Rocky Helmet damage, I take the recoil damage, and I'm like, what the fuck? So I switch on out here, I switch right on out and go into my Registeel, because I'm feeling, you know what, this thing, if it wants to set up Stealth Rocks, it gives me a free chance to get mine, but he pulls a double here into the Vaporeon. Now at this point, I know he's going into Mew. I just know he's going into Mew. So I go for Thunder Wave because I wanted to get that thing paralyzed so that my Staraptor can absolutely 100% absolutely outspeed it. Now Mew here, like I don't know why he switched in Mew now. Like, I thought that he was going to switch in so he could try and taunt me. But he gets the Synchronize on me, which I don't mind. At least now I can outspeed this paralyzed Mew. I switch on out here because I'm not going to outspeed it. There's no point in doing anything else right now. And I go into Staraptor because I knew he was probably packing Taunt. I knew he was packing Taunt, so Staraptor don't give a crap about being taunted. But I pull a switch here, thinking he's not going to let this Mew go down right now. And I go out into Skarda. And he goes for this, he goes for a double switch and goes into exactly what I thought he was going into, the Avalugg. Now at this point, I can go straight for a Psychic attack and just kill this thing. Or I can go for a U-turn and get on out of there. He switches into Vaporeon, and I go for a Psychic, because I thought, you know what, his prediction game at the moment is kind of on point. And I get the Spadef drop with Meloetta, which is absolutely fantastic. Now, I think he's not going to stay in here, so I go for the Wonder Room, which switches the Special Defense drop to a Defense drop. Which is, I don't know if that's how it works, I don't know. But anyway, well actually, to be fair, I do. I think I just went for it because I knew what he was going to bring in here. I assumed he was switching out at that point because I could do a lot of damage. And he goes into the Kyurem. Now, this Kyurem here, I was sure that this thing was going to be Choice Scarfed. So I go out into Michael Bolton here. I go out into Registeel so I could scout what this thing was going to do. So this thing goes for the Earth Power, that's fine. I knew he was going to predict that switch in, it was easy. And that does not Specs damage. So I knew at that point that this thing was going to be Scarfed. Well, either Scarfed or some kind of berry. But I was sure he was going for Scarf because there was not really any berry he could run that would be advantageous in the situation. So he switches out and goes into Mew on my Registeel as I get up my Stealth Rocks, which is quite good because now the Kyurem can't come in so easily. And Registeel's going to get a little bit of leftovers, and that's cool. So Mew here is like really threatening to me because if this thing gets up a softboard, I can't do anything. So I make the switch into Tyrantrum, mate. Into Tyrantrum as he goes for the knockoff, getting rid of my Life Orb, which is quite frustrating, but it does mean that I'm not going to take any recoil at all from attacking, so he's just raised my sweeping potential. So he then pulls the switch out into Avalugg, and I'm just like, you know what, mate? I don't want this thing to pull a single move on me. I mean, he brought it, and it switched in one turn, and made me take a bit more recoil than I would have liked, but it didn't really do much, so I'm kinda happy that didn't happen. Anyways, the Wonder Room wears off, which means that Kyurem is unaffected by any defense changes, and the way he brought this in, it was like I was just certain that this thing was going to be Scarfed. I was so sure that this thing was Scarfed. So I go into Staraptor, and I know that by him switching out there, it just pointed everything in my head to that thing being Scarfed. So I go for the U-turn, because I'm like, you know what, if he can take a move at that, if he can take a close combat, he can take anything I want to throw at him. If he wasn't Scarfed, he wouldn't have switched out. So I go for the U-turn as he brings in the Bronzong. And then I go into the Skarda because I have the Shadow Ball, which I've already revealed. So he switches out the Bronzong right here and goes into the Mew. That Mew, mate, which takes the Stealth Rock damage, and I'm about to get a kill with a physical attack from a specially attacking Meloetta. That was a satisfying feeling. very satisfying. So Meloetta picks up its first kill, which is real nice, and that Mew goes down, which was going to be an absolute pain, but I played like that. I had to play around that thing so bad, so well after that first turn. So I take this opportunity to go into Latias to show what his answer to Latias was, and then I switch out again into Michael Bolton, because I'm like, he's probably going to go for a Toxic, and I don't want to reveal the refresh too early. So I go into Registeel, and I'm like, you know what, it's fine. He goes for his Stealth Rock, and I take this opportunity to Thunder Wave this Bronzong. That was mainly so that if it is staying in against some of my Pokemon that can't 2-hit KO it, at least it's not gonna. At least it has the chance to not be able to attack. I thought that Thunder Waving that thing right there was a good idea, especially when I have things that can't really kill it from that range. So I know that he can't touch me. I know he can't touch me. He's going into Vaporeon, so I go for another Thunder Wave, predicting that. And I luckily haven't got paralyzed with Registeel yet. He's doing good job. Michael Bolton's doing a good job here. So this thing's now paralyzed. And that opens the doorway, because now I have a 50-50 chance of 2 Pokemon on his team not attacking when they try to make a move, which is fantastic. And it gives me opportunities now. It gives me opportunities to try and get sweeps. So I go out here into Brendan Urie. He's the most expendable member on my team right now, and he gets paralyzed. So I took the risk, and it worked. I actually switched in hoping he would get paralyzed, because if he didn't, then I would have had a dead Staraptor. So I go for the Double Edge. This is Reckless boosted, and it doesn't kill. But I kill myself to recoil. Screw you! You ain't getting the kill. So this thing throws up a Wish. And now I have to pull a massive bluff game here. So I'm going to go out into my Latias after this thing's got a Wish up. I know this thing's probably got Protect. So I'm going to go out into Latias, and I'm going to bluff that I'm going to go for the Calm Mind, because the Protect here is obvious. I'm going to bluff that I'm going for the Calm Mind. I'm going to Mega Evolve, and I'm going to call him on his bluff. And I'm going to go for the Psyshock, because if I go for the Psyshock, then if he goes for a Protect, it's fine. He gets all his health back, and there's no point in me setting up a Calm Mind anyway. So I go for the Psyshock. He doesn't Protect because he thinks I'm going to Calm Mind. So yeah, that's awesome. And he goes into Kyurem. And now this is where things get pushed to a bit of a head. So this Kyurem right here, it's a bit of a problem for me, because I don't have anything that can outspeed it anymore. And this thing kind of cleans up from here if I don't play my cards right. So I'll go into my Registeel, still kind of sure that this thing is Scarf. Still certain this thing is Scarf. So he goes for the Earth Power, and it does a decent amount, but he gets the Spadef drop. So I'm like, I can't stay in on this thing. I have to switch out because it's locked into Earth Power. I need to go into something that can take Earth Powers, and I only have one thing left. That's my Mega Latias. So I go into the Mega Latias. I switch in Purple Guy's fat ass here, and he reveals he's not in fact Scarf. He's a Habanberry, in case my Latias wanted to carry Dragon Pulse. And that is a problem, mate. That is a big ass problem, because now I have nothing that I can do. So I decide the only chance I have left in this game to get any kind of win is by going into my Meloetta, sacking it off, who did a great game. She pulled a great game. Going into Registeel, living at Earth Power after I Protect to get myself up to enough health to possibly live one, and then going for Thunder Wave. So if I go for it, right, so I go for the Protect. He goes for the Earth Power. It's just no stupid fucking Kyurem. Okay, so I'm about to try and go for the Thunder Wave. Okay, so he goes for the Earth Power here, and he gets a crit and kills me. I would have lived that hit. Possibly not attacked because I'm paralyzed. It's fine. It doesn't matter, because that prediction on the Latias is pretty much what won him that game, because he's cheater and he can do things. I'm joking. Anyway, he goes for the Ice Beam on my Tyrantrum. And yeah, that unfortunately is gonna be the game, because this Kyurem here, this stupid Kyurem, I was so certain it was Scarf, and I thought I had this game wrapped up. I thought I could pull it back, and he's bluffed me something crazy, and I've lost to a guy who thoroughly deserved it. So anyway, basically, I'm just gonna run through what won Trip this game here. The two things that won him this game were the two turns at the start where Mew burnt my Sneasel and stopped it from being able to do things and stuff, and then lived my Cobra knockoff. And the second thing that won in this game was that prediction on Curum. Now, I will say, at the start, I played like absolute shite. Basically, because I should have seen from a mile away that Mew that was being led was not going to be staying in on a Sneasel. Like, he wouldn't lead with it when it was so obvious that my lead was going to probably be Sneasel or Staraptor, physical attackers that it can burn. So by staying in and going for a knockoff on a Mew that's probably going to be carrying Cobra Berry was stupid on my part. Very stupid. And after that, I dug myself a hole that it was very difficult to get out from. However, Trip played like a fucking god. I'm not even gonna deny that. If a guy wins against me by luck, I'm gonna call him out on it. But he did not. He played like a fucking champion. So, fucking props to him. And this is going to be a learning experience for AS Monferno. We ain't going to take this lying down. And next week, against the St. Louis Chathots, or whoever we're playing, we're going to come out fighting. And we're going to show everyone that we're not just going to get beaten every week like Raikwin. We're going to actually do things and stuff. I'm going to show my drug dealer that I'm actually here to do things and stuff. You know, I'm not going to let Terry and David and Bob, you know, I'm not going to let them sell me drugs if I'm not going to win Pokemon matches. That's the deal we have going, and if I ain't going to stick to that, then fuck them. But yeah, basically, that's all for this video. If you thought that Trip played like a god, leave a like. If you thought that I played like an idiot, leave a like. If you hate me, leave a like. I don't care. Anyway, I will see you guys in the next fucking episode. See you later, you dickhead. It's okay, I love you really. This is just a character. Please don't kill me.